Against all odds, a tattoo-covered rapper has taken the country world by storm. From an open marriage to the horror show he's been begging to guest star on, here's a look at Jelly Roll's wild life. In 2013, little-known rapper Jelly Roll issued a new mixtape titled Whiskey, Weed, and Waffle House. Not long after, he received a letter from the restaurant chain threatening to sue over unauthorized use of its logo. He said in a statement, "When I first got the cease and desist letter, I thought somebody was pulling my chain. I thought, surely I'm not known enough for Waffle House to give a shit about me using their name." Wanting to avoid being sued, he quickly changed both the artwork and the title, removing the logo and retiring the disc as Whiskey, Weed, and Women. As he later told Gawker, he was surprised that Waffle House would take issue at all. Looking back on the whole thing in a 2021 Instagram post, he viewed the legal threat as a blessing because of all the attention he received, including that Gawker feature, and even a mention by Jimmy Fallon in a Tonight Show monologue. Jelly Roll was just 14 the first time he was arrested and imprisoned, a vicious cycle that he would repeat by spending more than 40 stints in prison during the next 10 years of his life. When he was 16, Jelly Roll was convicted of aggravated robbery, facing a sentence of up to 20 years behind bars. He said in an interview with Billboard, "They were talking about giving me more time than I'd been alive. I was charged as an adult years before I could buy a beer, lease an apartment, get a pack of cigarettes." He wound up spending more than a year in prison. Looking back, he still regrets committing the act that placed him behind bars, telling Billboard, "I never want to overlook the fact that it was a heinous crime. This is a grown man looking back at a 16-year-old kid that made the worst decision that he could have made in life."
Anything that hurt people, I wish I could change that.
Jelly Roll got one of the most life-changing bits of news of his life while in the worst possible place, in jail.
When I was in jail in 2008, they knocked on my cell door on May 22nd and told me that my daughter was born that morning.
Instantly, he was struck with a sense of purpose he'd never had before. Now, he was suddenly responsible for someone besides himself. He decided to do whatever it took to become a part of his daughter Bailey Ann's life. That meant altering his behavior behind bars, which resulted in a transfer from the prison's violent offender unit to its educational unit, where he earned his GED. After his release, he met his daughter for the first time at a party celebrating her second birthday. Looking back, Jelly Roll now views that singular moment as the most defining event in his life. He said in an interview with People magazine, "I compare it to the Christian scripture of when Saul turned into Paul on the Damascus Road. It was kind of that moment for me." In 2016, Jelly Roll's second child, a son named Noah, was born. Jelly Roll's journey toward country music hasn't been a straight path. Despite being born in Nashville, the global epicenter of the genre, he'd been more interested in rap than country. Eventually, he began creating his own music and recorded it on CDs that he'd hand out as a free bonus to the people to whom he sold drugs. He spoke to Billboard just before making his debut at Nashville's Ryman Auditorium, admitting that he'd never envisioned himself performing on what is arguably the city's most iconic stage. "I dreamed of being on that stage since I was a kid, but never thought I would, because I came from the rap and hip-hop world." His shift from rap to country, he told the New York Times, was something of a natural evolution. He explained, "The music started evolving as the man did." This is probably obvious, but Jelly Roll is not the name he was given when he was born in December 1984 in Nashville. Before he was Jelly Roll, the musician was a kid named Jason DeFord. His childhood wasn't exactly of the white picket fence variety. While growing up in Antioch, just outside Nashville, Jelly Roll saw his father earn extra cash as a bookie, while his mother experienced issues with both mental health and addiction. It was his mom who gave him the nickname that he'd eventually use as a stage name.
She started calling me Jelly Roll when I was young, and I spent the next 30 years trying to grow into the name. I think I've done it.
As he told CBS Sunday Morning, his mother continues to call him by that childhood nickname all these decades later. It's also the name to which he still answers. He said, "If somebody walked in here right now and said Jason, I wouldn't look up." Jelly Roll started selling and using drugs when he was still a teenager, but eventually he was able to curb the habit. As he told The Guardian, he kicked hard drugs without resorting to rehab or a 12-step program, although he continued to smoke marijuana and drink alcohol, adding, "I walk the line when I talk about my recovery out of respect for the people that have actually worked the program and completely sobered up."
I have so much respect for those people. It's just not the way that my sobriety worked out.
Admittedly, the most difficult part of the process for him had been changing the association he'd created between drugs and alcohol. He explained, "I had to learn that you could drink alcohol without doing cocaine. It took me a long time to learn that. There was a long time where I just assumed when people told me they drank without doing cocaine, I was like, I thought we only drank to do cocaine." In fact, the reason he drank liquor while imbibing cocaine was because it made him feel like he had less of a problem with drugs. Jelly Roll's marriage to Bunny XO isn't exactly typical. The fact that they may appear to be an unusual match is not something that's lost on them. Bunny explained on the Wife of the Party podcast, "I'm not Jay's type, and he's not my type. There was also, of course, the fact that Bunny maintained her career in sex work, while Jelly Roll was unfaithful shortly after they tied the knot. She was ready to call it quits, but ultimately worked through it.
We learned from that. That was the pivotal moment of where we were like, okay, this is make or break.
Meanwhile, the two have been very candid about having an open marriage.
If I want to sleep with another guy, I can go sleep with another guy. Like, that's not a problem.
They're also not averse to inviting others to join them in the bedroom. Jelly Roll recalled the shenanigans they got up to when she accompanied him on the road for his Addiction Kills tour and brought some other women onto the tour bus with her.
We just don't live in that world of unnecessary jealousy.
Jelly Roll has long connected with his fans by harnessing the power of social media. Over the years, he's been active on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, amassing millions of followers along the way. However, in early 2024, he decided to quit social media. As his wife, Bunny XO, revealed on TikTok, the cruel comments got to be too much.
My husband got off the internet because he is so tired of being bullied about his weight, and like that makes me want to cry because he is the sweetest angel baby.
According to Bunny, her husband is a lot more sensitive about his size than most people realize.
The internet can say whatever the they want about you, and they say, well, you're a celebrity, you're supposed to be able to handle it. No, the we're not.
Jelly Roll himself opened up about quitting social media, revealing that there were other reasons behind his decision beyond the bullying and fat shaming. As far as the musician was concerned, his relationship with social media in general wasn't in a good spot. He told Variety, "It was not only the toxicity of social media, but the addiction of it. I was becoming too busy to waste hours of my life scrolling. I've never felt better or healthier mentally, never felt more clear-headed." He's since begun posting on his accounts again, though it's mostly promotions for his work. There's no denying music is Jelly Roll's passion, yet over the past few years, he's taken up a hobby that he's become keenly interested in. He told Billboard, "My guilty pleasure is golf. I love golf because people drink early in the morning. I too like things that involve drinking early in the morning when that's possible. It's like a little sanctuary, man. It's awesome." The golf-loving country superstar was ready to buy his dream home within a gated community abutting a golf course until his criminal past resurfaced and put the kibosh on that plan. As he's revealed in several interviews, his offer had been accepted and the deal was about to be done when it got reversed.
As a 38, 39-year-old man, I was just turned down a house because the community wouldn't let me be a part of the golf course because of my felonies.
There have been many country music stars who've also established themselves as actors. Willie Nelson, Reba McEntire, and country legend Dolly Parton, just to name a few. If Jelly Roll has his way, he'll be joining that illustrious group of singers turned actors. And he has a very specific project in mind for his eventual acting debut. During an interview with ABC News, he took the opportunity to issue a personal plea to Ryan Murphy, executive producer of one of his favorite TV shows, American Horror Story, saying, "Ryan, please call me, man. I know you don't know me. If we could do a 30-minute Zoom and just let me hard sell you on why I should be in the next American Horror Story, I'd appreciate it. Ryan Murphy, I'll get my people with your people. I just need 15 to 30 minutes." Jelly Roll has long lived in a world in which drug addiction was omnipresent in the lives of his friends, family, and even his own. In early 2024, he brought that experience to Capitol Hill when he testified about the need for more powerful legislation to combat the fentanyl epidemic. Speaking before the Senate's Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, he brought his personal perspective on the number of funerals he's personally attended.
I could sit here and cry for days about the caskets I've carried of people I loved dearly, deeply, in my soul, good people.
Bunny XO sat behind him as he spoke from the heart, urging U.S. senators to pass the Fend Off Fentanyl Act. He also acknowledged the irony that he, a convicted felon and former drug dealer, was speaking out about that particular issue. Taking responsibility for his own past role in the fentanyl crisis, he said, "I brought my community down. I hurt people.
I was a part of the problem. I am here now standing as a man that wants to be a part of the solution."
If you or anyone you know needs help with addiction issues, help is available. Visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-4357.